Shona.
Jason.
Hi. So you're in England. What are you seeing with the reopening of hotels in the UK?
So firstly, thanks for asking me to come along and talk a little bit about business recovery. I think everyone knows we had yesterday the announcement that hospitality, hotel, pub, restaurant businesses in England will reopen from the 4th of July. It's worth saying for Wales, Scotland and Ireland, the dates are a little bit different, but all moving in the right direction. I think up until now, when we've looked at some of the sentiment, so looking at the BDRC report, the sentiment is showing that there is a shortening of lead time. So for visitor attractions, for hotels, that lead time is shortening. But up until yesterday, it hadn't been that shortening to the extent that it would indicate a staycation surge. However, I think in the next 7 days, given the recent announcements, what we're going to see is a much clearer indication of what people are going to be doing and making decisions about booking. So I think we are seeing anecdotally some change from looking to booking. So for instance, earlier this week, Best Western talking about a 450% surge in overnight bookings, Sunday through Monday. The boutique hotelier had done a survey saying that 51% of the people they surveyed were looking to go away before October. So there's really positive messages, but the next 7 days is really going to tell us a much clearer story of where it's going to go. I think the other thing to say is that the search terms are really important, and what's being seen is coastal, rural, green spaces, open attractions. So really playing to that ability to continue to social distance.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about revenue management real quick. How do you see revenue management playing out amid the recovery?
So different companies have taken different approaches, which has been really interesting to me coming from a revenue management background. Some teams have been furloughed and they've reduced their team and continued with the revenue management. But what we're hearing now is those teams are being brought back and are seen as absolutely critical to the recovery of hotels. I think technology is going to have a massive part to play. So in the early days, there was a lot of skepticism about revenue management systems and their reliance on historical data, which of course we can't rely on anymore. What's being seen now is that the systems being recalibrated with data now coming to the fore and businesses making sure that that data is valid. So looking at things like disregarding historical data, having the right competitor set, so some hotels are still closed or have reduced their capacities. So really making sure the data is robust and using that for decision making. But the human capital of the revenue manager is still required very strongly in order to understand the nuance of the local market, in order to set strategy, etc.
Right. Do you think hotels are going to be able to bring back this staff? Do you think they're going to outsource?
I've heard a few businesses looking at outsourcing, but in honesty, revenue managers are in short supply anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So when furlough is coming to an end or being brought to an end, what I am hearing is revenue managers are being brought back into the business, if indeed they were ever out of the business in the first place, because managing that revenue and optimizing demand is going to be absolutely critical for recovery, and revenue management is going to be at the center of that.
Right. What about technology? If hotels aren't currently, if they haven't been leveraging a revenue management system, are they even going to consider it? Is there even money for it?
I think firstly, I think a lot of the technology providers are trying to find ways of helping businesses bring systems in and optimize their systems. So there's a lot of we can give you the system free of charge for the first few months, or suspending payment. And I think that is really, really helpful. where businesses have got a revenue management system, they are helping themselves or being helped to recalibrate that system. So using technology and automating I think, is absolutely critical to recovery for businesses. And if there was ever an area to invest in, this would be the area to invest in.
Yeah. Let's talk about pricing. Um, how do you see hotels pricing coming out of this?
So I think we all support the best rate is the direct rate. So that is the first thing, and hotels are very much focused on that. And I think there's a whole piece there around building trust with the customer, and having that relationship between property and customer really gives an opportunity to further support that best rate direct and getting customers to book direct. Businesses need a really well-defined pricing strategy for the medium and long term, and underpin that with short-term tactics. And I think that really clear, consistent message about pricing policy is important. So things like removing payment requirements, being really relaxed about terms, conditions, and cancellation policies, and then very clear about the other policies that are being offered. So things like additional cleanliness, etc., is going to be really critical for customers to understand and be encouraged back to travel.
Okay, very good. Well, hey, thank you for spending time with me.
My pleasure. Thanks.